What's up, DAW Nation? My name's Wyatt Troy, and I want to welcome you to episode 10 of Behind the DAW, where we interview music producers, music industry experts, artists, people of that nature on an emotional, philosophical, artistic, and music business basis. This is a companion podcast to our YouTube series In the DAW, where we invite music producers to come and dissect their songs in real time. It's fantastic. If you are interested in checking that out, there is a link in the description. Three things really quick before we get into who we are interviewing today. Number one is the Patreon. If you would find it in your heart to donate $1 a month so that we can keep bringing these type of interviews to you, it would be amazing. It'd be so grateful. And plus you get access to a Discord community where only the patrons are allowed to be. So if you're interested in that, there is a link down in the description. Also, the second link in the description is for suggestions. If you want to see someone come on the show, go ahead and click on that link. It's just down there. It's easy. Click on it. Tell us who you want. And then the third link is for private lessons. If you want private lessons in electronic music production or in social media marketing, go ahead and click on that. It's easy. One step. So with all that out of the way, who do we have today? It is a great pleasure to be able to tell you that we have Au5 today. That's right. Austin Collins himself is coming on, and he is going to give us some very deep insight into the music production realm, except not the technical side. More of the emotional side, the philosophical side, of course. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we are going to be talking about many things, but here's some of my favorite things that we talked about. So we are going to be talking about having supportive family members and friends for your music career. Is that possible? I feel like most of us have family members that are like, what are you doing this for? Why? This doesn't make any sense. He's going to talk about why it's important to have those type of people in your life. And if you can't have family members do that for you, to have friends or colleagues or someone of that nature to be able to supplement where that family support needs to be. The other thing that we're going to be talking about today is, why do we love to create? We're going to get deep into this. Why do you love to create? Don't worry, we're going to talk about it. And the third thing that we're going to be talking about is staying 100% authentic and true to who you are, not being influenced by trends or by popular opinions or whatever. It's you. Down to the core, it's you. You have to know who you are, and you have to stay with that in order to survive in this music industry, all right? So we're going to get into that. Of course, there's a lot of other things that we're going to be talking about, but those are the three big things that stuck out to me, and we're going to get into other things here in a second. I do want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Diamond Eyes, to Joshua Marment, because he helped me interview Au5 on this episode. So with all of that out of the way, if you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, repost, follow, whatever is appropriate on the particular platform that you're listening on, like iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Deezer, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever you're listening to it. Please, it just helps us know that what we're doing is in the direction that you need us to go, doing the things that we need to do to help you become the producers that you need to become. So with all of that out of the way, and without further ado, I want to introduce you to Au5. Welcome everybody to Behind the DAW episode 10. This time we have Au5. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Good to be doing the interview with you again.
Perfect, dude. And you're calling from Delaware this time, though. You live in Denver. You're in Delaware, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm at my parents' place. I got my little studio set up here. I was a few weeks ago. I went to Italy for 10 days with them, and it was a really cool experience, just for vacation, not for gigs or anything.
We're really excited to have you on here. You're a very deep individual, very intellectual individual. So I feel like this is going to be a very fruitful podcast. But I also wanted to welcome my co-host for today, Joshua Marment. He's been on the podcast before. He goes by Diamond Eyes. How you doing today, man?
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm doing phenomenally. Really excited to iron this out with you guys today.
Perfect, dude. And so Josh and I will be taking turns, basically asking questions on and off, commenting on and off. Mr. Austin, tell us about your artistic journey in the sense of, why did you get into music?
I started out being interested in music before I could remember, so I'm told. When I was 3, I remember, well, my parents remember me playing on a Casio SK1 that my dad gave me just to fool around with at the time. I thought it was the coolest thing. My parents are very musical and artistic people in the first place, and they would play a bunch of different kinds of music around the house. And one day, apparently, I discovered that 2 notes or multiple notes on the keyboard sounded the same, and that was me discovering octaves. And then not too long after, my parents found me essentially transcribing or playing playing by ear theme songs of commercials and shows that I was hearing on TV on the keyboard. And I guess that was their cue to enroll me in piano lessons. So I started piano lessons when I was 3, and then that became a thing for half my life. I was continued taking them until age 13. So I'd say that was like my musical foundation. I've just been super grateful that I've had parents that have been supportive in this and also have pushed me to develop my passion and interest for music. They saw something. I really have to owe it to them for seeing something in me that I didn't know any different. I didn't know otherwise. That was kind of an odd thing to be interested in and to explore at such a young age.
That's amazing, dude. And I love that, like, right off the gun, that's what you brought up, is like how your parents are so supportive of this basically unorthodox career. Because it's the same with Josh here when we were interviewing him. His parents were very supportive, right? If I remember correctly, Josh?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's really, really nice to see that you've had that, man. It's such a blessing.
Most of us, including myself, we didn't have that. When I was growing up, I grew up in a town of 244 people, which means you either hunted or played sports. And I hated both. And so I was like, I want to do music. And they're like, you're crazy. I love you. You're the best, but you are crazy. I'm like, okay, that kind of sucks. And then as I got older and I basically got better, they're like, you're still crazy, but you're better at it. And now finally, like 10 years down the road, I'm hanging out with Au5 and Diamond Eyes. They're finally like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And so the fact that you had that basically family morale to keep you going is incredible, because most people don't have that. I mean, just imagining it, I mean, could you have done music if you didn't have the support of your family?
It's really hard to say. They supported me in things that I was interested in, some creative interests. Also, like art and science were two big interests of mine. And I think it's because they are artists as well and have made careers out of their art. And so they saw that was something of value. Like, it wasn't just mindless entertainment, doing art. For most of my life, I did not, and they didn't think that it was actually a viable career choice. They were just in support of me doing art or some kind of creative endeavor. They believe that has its own intrinsic value that bleeds into other aspects of life. They never really raised me to be any one specific thing, like a scientist or a doctor or anything like that. They kind of just left it open-ended and supported me along my own journey.
You were very, very, very blessed to have that, man, because not very many people have that. I think statistically speaking, I think it's like 60% of parents push their current career onto their children, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, we're individuals.
There's so much importance in having a supporting circle at such a young age, because again, something as creative as music, to be able to express yourself from a child up gives you a huge way of expressing yourself, which can be so healthy later on in life, like through good and bad.
Absolutely. Music is a language. Learning music is like learning a language. If you are exposed to it and encouraged to use it at a young age, it's not even really something that you have to really think about. You feel compelled to express in that way. You feel compelled to express through music as well as verbally, sometimes more so than verbally. And for the majority of my life, being an only child and being extremely introverted, not really having an interest in hanging out with a lot of friends all the time, keeping to myself, I felt that it was hard to communicate what I was actually feeling through verbal means. And therefore music was unconsciously a way for me to express and process how I was feeling.
I loved how you said how music is a language, because in so many different ways, because I can listen to Josh's song Hold On and I can be like, he used a certain type of Ableton warping right there, and it's like only producers can understand what's going on. It's like a hidden language. I can listen to one of your songs and be like, that is comb filtering. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's like an underlying like hidden message that only producers really understand, and all the other people are like, this feels good and this sounds cool. To me, that really enforces my sense of community with you guys and with other producers, because it is like our own language that we speak to each other. We can meet up and be like, oh, how do you feel about the new Ableton blah 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 blah? Oh, well, I feel about this. And oh, do you feel like the SSL virtual compressor is as good as the real one? Oh yes. I absolutely love that. And the reason why I brought that up is because the sense of community that I've gotten from producers, and specifically in the electronic field, has been more than enough to sustain me, where my current family and friends didn't. So I want people who are listening to this to know that if you want a family, this is the best place to do it. As far as like getting to any crevice of the music industry, the electronic field is so loving for the most part, so loving and so accepting and so willing to teach and help and guide. It's just, yeah, we're literally in the best situation possible.
I definitely feel that. I feel that the electronic music scene, from just like a technological standpoint even, it is the cutting edge of technology, and utilizing that cutting edge technology in new ways. It's basically the cutting edge of music, and therefore you have to be open-minded to an extent. You have to be accepting of whatever these new innovations and concepts are brought into the scene in order for it to continue growing as well. And subsequently, that kind of bleeds over to the social aspect of it too. We have some weird people in the electronic music scene, and it's amazing because there isn't really a place for that elsewhere that they can be accepted in.
Is there a particular drive in your life that pushes you to create? Is there something specific that, you wake up every morning like, this is why I want to do it, this is why I feel this is in me?
There is, and it's something that I'm still trying to understand, and something that continues to reveal itself as life goes on. Initially, it was something that I just felt. I didn't really understand logically why I was so compelled to. I think it's easy to initially not really blame per se, but label things that are going on in your life as the reasons for doing something. But later you find out that there's actually like a deeper meaning. And because, even if those things end up being resolved in life, such as like not making enough money, and then the drive to become successful, to have enough money, once you get to that point where you can live comfortably, you realize that drive is still there. It's not actually the money. That was just the face of it. There's always some underlying drive for doing that. I think for me, the ultimate drive to create in general, to create art, is to create something, to create novelty, to create something that is harmonious, that connects with people, that expands consciousness, that is also beautiful. And I think that seems to be what nature is doing anyway. It is creating novelty and complexity in order to expand consciousness and gain a better understanding of itself.
Yeah, so like a pocket of beauty, just like you come across it and it gives you space to expand. It just for a brief moment in time, for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and you just you're in that bubble, and you're just like, everything drops, and you're just able to be at peace with yourself, or in a particular thought that drives you forward for the day or for the minute or for the hour.
Yeah, it comes down to doing it just for the sake of doing it, because it feels good for no other, not for social validation, not for fame or money, but to know that you enjoy doing it, and that there is an infinite amount of things to continue to explore. And as a byproduct, other people benefit from it. It can help other people. If it's coming from a genuine place, it will help other people get in touch with the genuine part of themselves as well.
Of course, yeah. No, that's brilliant, man. That was such a good, fulfilled answer. I don't know how better to put it, but yeah, that's really awesome, dude.
Are you guys all right if we kind of take a little bit of a leap into the spiritual realm? To basically keep it as religion neutral as possible, not to lean on one or not. I mean, I'm sure both of you know, if you don't, I'm a Mormon. So if that wasn't apparent, sorry, I'm a Mormon. I'm not going to kind of dive into that belief system, but more so what I feel, the reason why I think, at least a theory that I have, as to why we love making music so much, why we love creating so much. I think it's actually deeper. I actually think it's a part of our, what I call spiritual DNA. Depending on your spiritual beliefs and everything, across many religions, it's believed that we are children of a higher power, a spiritual child of a higher power, whether you call that God or Allah or whatever you call it. My kind of theory that I have is that God is this infinite being, is a creator. He creates things. He finds joy in creating, whether that's planets or whether that's his spirit children or whatever. And so with us being his children, I believe that desire to create is deeply embedded inside of us. And so, but with that also, with him being a father, as many religions say he is, with him being a father, then that means that his other children, i.e. you guys, me, other people, they are in essence our family. And so we have a responsibility, a feeling, a drive to take care of each other. And so as both of you do with your music, you do make music to help people. You do make music to connect with people. So basically we're knocking out at least two birds with one stone, where we are helping people and we are fulfilling that deep desire to create. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think that that's pretty much just a different way of explaining what I was going for.
Again, there's really not much that I can add to this, because you pretty much, I mean, at least for kind of how I make music as well, it's very similar to how you make music, Austin. It's, you know, it's just an internal drive that fulfills you, that as a byproduct impacts other people's lives in a positive way as well. And I mean, the drive to create, again, having a supportive spiritual parent, or, you know, even just, you know, your actual parents, you know, it all kind of stems from that kind of, that tree, so to speak, whichever way you spin it, whoever you believe in, or, you know, if it's science, if it's, you know, if it's God, you know.
So now you've gotten to a point in your life where it's no longer like a financial drive. I'm sure there's a little bit of financial drive. You like to eat, you like to live. And so I'm sure there's a little bit of a financial drive. That's cool. I too like to eat and live. But you're saying that like where you are now in your life, there's something deeper. There's something more of a passion. So with that being said, what have been some experiences in your music career that I guess would be some of your favorite experiences that you're like, this is amazing and I love being in music because of this?
I'd say playing shows, but not just any shows. For being a producer and performing for like past 5 years, I don't really play that many shows. On average, I'd say once a month. And that's kind of been that way for the past 5 years, which I'm totally cool with, because I'm not really that much of a people person in the first place. I love socializing. Don't get me wrong. I'm very comfortable. I love interacting with people and sharing ideas and whatnot. And just, the social interaction is cool. Ultimately, I like to be in solitude, exploring the inner world. So when I do have the opportunity to play a show, particularly like festivals, like the last show that I played was in Golden, BC in Canada, Motion Notion. I played it for the third year in a row. That is probably one of the greatest experiences, and it is also such a blessing to just be able to go there and connect with these people that come from all over the country. It's like a utopian paradise. I strive to have more experiences like that, because in that kind of setting particularly, I don't feel like I am separate from the attendees. I am the artist and the attendees. We're all just people, and we're all just interacting. I love to just dance in the crowd with everyone else, and just be like a normal person. I don't seeing yourself on a pedestal above everyone else ultimately just isolates you from everyone else. I like being immersed with people and enjoying the same things they are. I like being the artist as well as the person enjoying the art.
When it comes to you and creating music, not so much like obviously samples, again, that's all like personal choice, and you know that's taste, but getting into a rhythm. When you sit down in front of like your desk, you go to make something, kind of how do you get into exploring, as you'd put it, you know, how do you get into that?
The first thing that I realize that I have to do, and it's always in retrospect that I realize, is I strive to find an environment that I am not trying to do anything other than just create and have fun. Because a lot of times, and I still do this, I've been producing for a really long time, and I've always done this, and I still do it. I'll sit down, I'll have the intention to create something for a reason. And oftentimes, you know, I'll hear another artist, like, for instance, make some genre or make some kind of sound that I haven't heard before. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I could totally utilize that or exploit that or improve on that. And it would just leave such a big impact. Basically, if I sit down with the intention of doing something for how other people will respond to it, I usually never get far at all. And it becomes very quickly uninspiring. There have been times where I had remix gigs. This is a while ago. I don't really do many remixes anymore. I would have remix gigs where I would try to do something and try to like really work through and push through this remix, knowing that there's a deadline and that the end goal is to make money. But also I wanted to do something innovative and next level. And it always felt like a struggle. I always felt like I get exhausted way too fast or frustrated way too fast. I would just start a new session and just start creating something because either just some random idea came into my head that's like looping for some reason and I just have to get it down. And more often than not, those times where I'm not actually trying to make something, I will create something and it will just have momentum. It will just build momentum because I don't see an end in sight. I think that allows me to explore freely without any overthinking or without any discretion. And man, once I get into that flow, it's not really something that I just lose track of time.
Aware of. You're not even aware of it's happening around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in a creative flow, and I just know that it feels really good to be in there, even though I can't really recall like my thought processes of creating the thing. I don't know. Every time I sit down in front of the DAW, I could go either way, and I think it really comes down to how centered and present I feel with myself at that time. No, yeah, like I said, if I sit down with the intention to like impress, I'm gonna disappoint myself.
If you had to give producer, we'll call him Jack, some advice, who's just now, getting some momentum and is now getting to the point where he's being greeted with money for remixing, what if you had like just a tip to give him, just be like, hey man, this is what I gotta say to you to not burn out or to kind of keep your passion?
I've spoken with, I have quite a few producer friends that have been in a similar position, and where they've been doing their thing without any payment or any recognition. They've just been doing it because they love doing it for so long, and then someone picks them up, or someone's interested in releasing their music, or wants a remix or something. And then I think what ends up happening is they get really excited, and then they become too self-aware. They start to try to see themselves through the eyes of the person that approached them, or through an audience. And that is extremely detrimental to our own honesty with ourselves and our own creativity with ourselves. Even talking about the social aspect of that. We're just being ourselves until someone will make a remark about how we are. And it's very easy for people, especially if the remark is negative, very easy for that person that's receiving the negative feedback of how they are being subjectively perceived to use that and become more self-conscious, and then put on a facade or become a false version of themselves in order for social validation, or for that to not happen again, for them to not feel like they're inferior. I think if you are just honest with yourself, it kind of filters out who you should and shouldn't be associating with. I'll be myself, and some people won't like it, and that's just how it is. Like, I'm going to create music, like I'm gonna not just stick to heavy dubstep, and there are people that are just not going to like it. You have to accept that. Going back to the original question, it's a tough one, because when you're offered money to do something that someone expects of you based off of what they've seen you do before, it can very easily pigeonhole you. And I think it really comes down to each person and what they are experiencing at that time in their life. How necessary is this immediate money really? Mm-hmm. And is doing something for that money, like doing what someone else expects for that money, just continue doing what you have been doing as if there is no incentive other than just to have fun with it. Don't worry about the income until after you're done the whole creative process, after you are outside of exploring inside of yourself.
So be you, basically, essentially, but through the thick of it, because that's what makes the music great.
Because the last thing you want to do is pigeonhole yourself and stunt your growth because you're doing something that you think other people expect of you, and that would keep you relevant, because everything is evolving, everything is changing, people's tastes are, and I don't know, I think it's just better to be a leader than to be a follower.
I have a really good friend, his name's Still Stout Duty. He's in the band Van Lady Love. If you guys haven't heard him, check them out because they're amazing. He was telling me one time, I was kind of throwing around some branding ideas for my own music, and he told me, he's like, Wyatt, stop taking the business idea and throwing it through the dream filter. Take a dream idea and throw it through the business filter. And so to me, that was so deep. He's like, if you want something profitable, take a business idea and throw it through the dream filter. If you want something that's profitable and then will be extremely satisfying, take a dream and throw it through the business filter, because the business filter is the reality of it. You know what I mean? Because you can have a dream to perform live on Mars, then you have to look at the reality of it. Like, can you do that? How much money is it going to cost? You know what I mean? Because dreams are great, but the business part of it is what's going to help you execute it. The business is not meant to detriment your dream at all. It's supposed to be a double-edged sword. It's supposed to sharpen it up and make it way more effective, basically. But if you go about it wrong, then all of a sudden, if you have a business idea and you're throwing through the dream filter, all of a sudden it's like the dream part of it, the passion part isn't as important. It's the business part that's as important.
It's hollow.
It's hollow. That's a good way to put it. It's hollow, and it just sucks. And I would love to know how you have dealt with personal failure or not satisfying people with music. You know, I kind of picture this in my mind where it's like, you know, you go to like the festival that you went up to in Canada and you're just, you know, you have your dedicated crowd out in front of you and they're loving it. They're just soaking it up. They're like Au5 for life. But then let's say, you know, you meet some random person on the airplane and they ask you what you do. You say you make music and you show them your music and they're like, you know what I mean? Because
that's such an apt response. How some people react.
Like, so like, when does the music start? It's like, oh, come on. I thought you said you were a musician. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. I mean, like, have you had those things and how have you overcome them if you've had them?
I've definitely had those things. A lot of times it's been from the generation above me. For instance, like I'll fly to play a gig and then I'll land and then I have to get to the venue or the hotel somehow. So I'll Uber and there's a stranger that's wondering like why I'm here. And so I tell them like I am a performing artist and I go around the the country playing my music. And they're like, oh, are you in a band? No, I'm just a solo artist. And they're like, oh, like what instrument do you play? And I'm just like, well, I am an electronic music producer. So I make the music ahead of time and then play it. I DJ it in front of people. And if they're not totally lost by then, and if they have an aux cable, I'll play some of my stuff. At this point, anyone can react in any possible way. Like, I don't like to, I don't know, I think just staying humble about it because anyone can react in any such way. I just feel like, yeah, here's some of the stuff I do. And then I'll show them something chill. I'll show them something heavy if they're still down. And I think, I don't know, it's kind of fun and amusing to me at this point because like, I don't really need any stranger's validation anymore for me to feel okay about what I'm doing. And if they like it, then it's just like, cool, you know, it's just win-win. If they don't like it, then it's just, I don't know. It's still amusing regardless.
A good way of dealing with it is there's a saying and it's don't take anything personally you don't know from someone personally.
Totally.
The reason why I bring this up, and she would probably be pretty upset if I told you this, but like, for example, me and my wife, after we got done doing the interview with you the other day, I'm like, I was on cloud nine. It was such a good interview. And I was like, do you want to hear the song we just broke down? And so I broke it down. She's like, she's not a very musical person and she doesn't like bass music, which is kind of like mind blowing to me because I'm a huge bass dude. That's me. Like she loves the sub, but anything above 100 hertz she could care less about unless it's a voice. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we were listening to it and she's like, it's just too heavy for me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is freaking amazing. Like, can you not hear? Like, and then I go off on all these terms and she's just like, I don't know what that means. And you know, like it was actually quite adorable. And so that's what got me on the concept of it. I was like, maybe there are people out there who don't like Au5's music. How does he handle it? So no, you bring it up. That's awesome that like how you said you don't need self-validation to continue your art. The fact that you are satisfied with making your art, you make it, you're like, this is amazing. And anything on top of that is bonus. That's freaking awesome. That's how it should be. I do see a lot of producers, especially because I went to Icon Collective. Both of you know this, but I went to Icon Collective. Very many of them are wide-eyed and like ready to hit the game, but they're very, you know, they've been conditioned to follow trends. They've been conditioned to, I need to make whatever's popular at the time. And so when they make something popular at the time and the person that they show it to doesn't like it, their ego, their self-esteem, their emotions, everything is tied to that, and it's horrible. It's literally the worst thing you can do to yourself emotionally in this music industry. It's seriously the worst.
See, that's where I feel like again this is a double-edged sword because it comes down to the kind of person you are. Going to like a place to learn about something that's expressive, if you're not sure in who you are as a person, then how you want to express yourself with it can be super detrimental. If you're not waking up every morning and being like, right, this is how I feel today, and I'm going to express it through this kind of song, and heck, I'm feeling glitch up today, tomorrow I'm feeling jazz. A quick answer to what I'm just trying to get at here is, you know, you just got to be really sure in who you are and where you want to go with it. Otherwise you can have a tendency to kind of follow a route instead of make one.
Totally. I think you have to become vulnerable with yourself. You have to be honest with how you're really feeling, even if it goes against your ideal image of yourself. That's how to, I mean, just in general in life, that's how to grow grow. And that's how to connect and relate to people as well. It's how to make deep connections. Is like, you have to be honest with yourself and be vulnerable. People, you have to admit when you are not at your best and ask when you need help. And I think it's the same goes for the self. Like, if you keep telling yourself, man, I'm so good, I'm better than everyone else, that's going to keep you delusional and keep you in a comfort zone and prevent you from growing ever.
Really quick, I have a comment on this, but in order for me to do this, we need to bring the help of Siri in. What is the current population of the world?
As of 2017, the population of Earth is 7,530,103,737.
Okay, so the reason why I brought that up, so basically it's 7.5 billion, is because of this. So have you two both heard of the 1,000 true fan theory?
I haven't.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know anything about it.
Cool. So I'm going to blow your mind right now. So basically, the 1,000 true fan theory states this. In order to have a very viable career in music, all you have to do is have 1,000 super fans. And what a super fan is defined as someone who will at least spend $100 on you per year, whether that's through streaming, whether that's through going to a concert, whether that's through merch, or however, Patreon, however you do it. All right. If you do that, then you make about $100,000 a year. And then probably after taxes, you walk away with relatively like 70 or 80. With that being said, that's a very good living. Like, that is an insanely good living. Like, that's what, like, the people who have a doctorate in pharmacy, pharmacist doctors. I don't know. My sister and my brother-in-law are those guys. And that's about what they make in a year, right? They went to school for forever to make that money. In order for us to make that kind of money is insane. Like, that's going against all odds. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is this. All you have to do is convince 1,000 people on this earth, anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where they are, to love your music and spend at least $100 on you. Do you know what percentage that is? All right. So that's why I pulled that up. So if we take 1,000 divided by 7.5 billion, I don't know if you guys can see this, but that is literally 1/100th of a millionth of a percent that we have to convince the world to love us. That is 100th of a millionth of a percent. To be honest, when you break it down like that, that's really not that hard to do. You know what I mean? Especially in the day and age that we live in, where we have the internet, we have blogs and submit hubs and Spotify playlists and PR companies and Facebook marketing and all kinds of stuff to be able to basically blast it out to as many people to get those 1,000 fans as possible. And then anything on top of those 1,000 fans is just a high five. That's Christmas money, basically. And so I just want you guys to know that, like, not only is this possible, obviously, because both of you are doing it right now, and I'm also speaking to the people who are listening right now, not only is it possible for you to do this, it's probably one of the most logical and easiest times to have ever done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I feel like I've been at the right place at the right time, like born in the right era. It got myself interested in the right kind of music before I even knew that there was a music scene or that any kind of social media existed. And I just happened to be doing that right and have been good and got good enough to the point where once there was a platform for that, social media and whatnot, it was almost like my spot was cut out for me and I didn't even know it.
I hate it when people say that the music industry is oversaturated. I don't think that's what they really mean. I think what they said is basically there's too many amateurs in the field right now. I don't feel like it's oversaturated. I actually feel like we have so much more room to grow. It's ridiculous. What I think is there's just too many people that are either have the wrong information or trying to get the information in the wrong ways by like hitting up Zed after producing for a week and being like, can I get feedback on my song? Even if we broke it down into like this, if every single person in this world wanted to go into electronic music, guess what? There would still be a market, because if everyone in the world was into electronic music, guess what? Festivals would go up like crazy. Streaming would go up like crazy, like plugin companies would go up like crazy. You see what I'm saying? So even if every single person, even if 7.5 billion people in the world were in the music industry, there would still be plenty of room for everyone. You would have to get creative, yes, and there would have to be new markets that would come about, yes. But the fact is, to say that there is not enough room in the electronic music industry is complete conjecture, and it's not backed by any science I can think of.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like everything just scales up. There'll be more labels. There'll also be more amateurs. There'll also be... It's going to be the same ratios, more or less, in every subfield in the field of electronic music.
A lot of it is excuses as well. A lot of people say it's oversaturated because they're hard to wake up in the morning and admit that they're going to commit their life to a craft. You know, when they can't just wake up and they can't flip a switch, you know. On a video game, you can grind for 10 hours, you can get something and it's yours or whatever, you know. But in the music, you have to create something from scratch and then put it out there, and then one, believe in it, and then two, fight for, you know, something to come back from it.
The music industry, our music industry, actually any facet of the music industry, is a farm. It is not a cafeteria. A cafeteria, you go, you order your food, and as soon as possible, you get the food. A farm is you have to plant seed after seed after seed after seed after seed after seed and water it and till the ground and do everything, you know what I mean? Make sure that it's like the perfect conditions. And then finally, after a set amount of time, maybe after there's been crazy winters and nothing's grown or anything, then finally the corn comes up or the beans or whatever you're growing. Do beans grow? Anyways, you finally get your fruit or your vegetable or your plant or whatever, right? That is the industry that we live in. The people who come in and think that they can throw around their money and basically have enough food, success, whatever you want to say, for the rest of their lives are idiots. They're idiots because it's going to be fake. It's going to be easily dispersible. It's going to be, you know, it's not going to last long at all. But the people who come in and they farm, they come and they plant all these seeds and they work as hard as they can and they take care of those seeds and they do everything, will succeed. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Definitely agree. I think foundation is everything. And again, I think being honest with yourself, and if it's ultimately something that you want to do for the sake of doing it and just for the love of it, I think that is a solid foundation. I think that is what's going to be able to keep you persisting and driven to do all the systematic things that you need to do in order to work your way up, such as like teach yourself, either whether it be teach yourself music or teach yourself how to produce, as well as networking and stuff. All of those things are integral, but I think at the basis of it, you have to be doing it because you love the art itself. That's the core of it. All of the promoters or like label owners and managers and everything, they are facilitators, but they wouldn't exist if the art wasn't there.
So I was explaining this to someone the other day. That's like, let's say you want a donut, and let's say there's two shops and they sell the exact same donut. One of the shop owners is a complete jerk. The other shop owner is really, really nice and compliments you and treats you well. Which one are you going to go to? Of course, you're going to go to the one that's nice. And so I try to explain that to people, you know, being in the music industry. Like, okay, let's say that you produce a song and it's a banger. Let's say the other person produced a song and it's a banger. Let's say the other person is extremely nice and you're an arrogant idiot. Who are they going to choose? Probably the other person, you know what I mean? And so the concept is this, is that you need to be, not only do you need to be amazing at your craft, but you have to be a good person. You have to be nice. You have to be looking out for other people, which is why I love that you two are here, because Josh, you are the nicest person I've met ever in the UK. You're just so nice. And then Austin, you and Trevor Christensen are currently fighting for the nicest person in the US spot right now.
I'd agree with that for sure, actually. Yeah.
Which is fine. You guys can both live up in the same space. That's cool with me. And so that's why I've been so impressed with you guys and have had a desire to foster a relationship with you, because not only do I love your music, but you guys are amazing people. And so my question to you is, has there been an experience like that where you met someone, they had amazing music, or they promised some product that would be amazing, but you're like, I hate you as a person and I can't deal with you? Or vice versa, has there been someone who, you know, didn't have very good music, but they were just such a good person and you're like, stay around, I like you?
That much more often than the previous thing. I can't really think of anyone that I like genuinely didn't like, who is also really good at making music, or their music captivates me in some way. I don't know. I think that's a pretty rare thing to find. I mean, taste in music is totally subjective. There are people out there, a lot of them I know, that love the music of arrogant artists who are probably not the best people. And for me, I don't know, they kind of go hand in hand. It's almost like oftentimes if I can hear the music sounds genuine, I know that it's coming from a genuine place. Even if the person is not extremely nice and outgoing or humble, there's often a part of them deeper inside that is just being kind of shielded from, ego defenses, or I don't know, there is a genuine part of that person in there, and that it has come out through their art. And I think that, I think that's innate in that person, even if their first impression doesn't necessarily show it.
My real life example, as you know, I love real life examples of this, is Jesse Breda, because I love Jesse Breda. He is amazing. For those of you who don't know, he's the CEO of Gravitas Recordings, and he's the one who started Gravitas Create. If you don't know anything about that, I highly encourage you to go check it out, because it's incredible. But Jesse Breda is an incredible human being, and not to say that his products weren't up to par, that he didn't really have anything that was necessarily bad. He actually has incredible products, but to add that on top of it, he's just the freaking man. Like, he will do anything for you. He's so nice, he's so respectful, he'll take care of you.
Yeah, Jesse is such a legit dude. I mean, I've been in communication with him for like the past year, or maybe even more than a year, but then I actually got the chance to meet him earlier this summer in Denver on the Closey tour, and I actually got to chill with him and the whole crew, and before the show, and have dinner with him, and I was just like, Jesse is like so not only is he super nice, he's really funny and witty too. He feels so good, and I felt so comfortable and at home to be around him amidst like kind of the strangers that I didn't even know. He brings good vibes. He's just such a cool, fun, happy, and it comes out in his vision and what he does. Like Gravitas and what he's curating is coming from a place of growth and of love, not to sell out, and he has not sold his soul and his business to the devil.
Well, I love that about it. I love that he still owns his soul, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Just to kind of break away a little bit, because I know sometimes, myself included, artists have, let's say, unconventional ways of getting their alias. What's your story behind your alias?
As the name Au5, you mean?
Yeah.
It originally started out as being derived from just a modified version of my name, Austin. I used to use AOL Instant Messenger, and my screen name on that was, I don't use it anymore, so it doesn't matter. My screen name on that was Austin Collins, with the S's and the I's as 5s and 1s.
Yeah.
Totally nerdy, totally original, sure. This was around like age 13 or 14, and my internet friend that I was talking to, because we both started to delve into electronic music, or just like making music on the computer, I was trying to think of what a cool name would be, like a cool alias would be, and he was like, dude, why don't you just use AU5, the first 3 letters of your screen name? It's cool. So yeah, I kind of just used that, and it kind of just stuck. And there's still a lot of debate on how to pronounce the name. Is it Aus from Austin? Is it Oz, or Au5, or Gold 5? I've heard some pretty weird ones, or like Golds. Like,
oh my gosh, that's so nerdy and amazing.
But I mean, ultimately, it's just a name, It's just a label for what's underneath it and what it represents. I'm not really that concerned about how it's pronounced, or like, I don't really get caught up in the importance of that. As long as you know what the other person is talking about and what you're referring to, I think that's what matters. So that just kind of became the alias of not just making melodic dubstep, but it became, as the AU5 project went on, I realized that this is something that is just the creative expression of me. It's just the creative expression of Austin Collins, whether it be melodic dubstep or chill music, or something that's not even electronic or not even music. I mean, my visual art, like most of my cover art, is my own artistic creations. And so like the whole package, what I'm trying to convey is just an embodiment of who I am creatively, like my creative expression solidified.
I have a final question for you, and then similar to that of the YouTube version, we give you feedback on your song. Would you also like to have feedback on life and stuff?
Man, I am open to that. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so the final question before we get into basically the feedback. The final question for you. I've asked Josh this. I've asked many people this. I'd love to know your personal thoughts on this. So you go throughout your life. You've enjoyed your life. It's been successful. You've achieved your dreams. You've done everything that you want. Now you are on your deathbed, and I'm actually switching up the story for you, Josh. I used a son. For you, I'm going to use a daughter. So let's say you're on your death, and you look over, and your firstborn daughter, you love her more than anything, sitting there, and she's like, Dad, I'll be with you to the end. I'm here for you. And you have one final breath to give her one piece of advice, no matter whether that's a word or a sentence or a phrase or a concept. That's up to you. What would that thing be?
In a more eloquent way, I would probably say something along the lines of, don't let anyone or anything else taint your vision. I believe that you are born with a purpose and a goal and a vision, and life is going to give you opportunities to uncover that, and at the same time it's also going to throw a lot of dirt over that. And I think it's our duties as individuals to not let that light that we've been given be dimmed or muddled by other people and other things, because that light is what is going to illuminate the path that we are born into.
That was gorgeous. That was incredible. That was very heartfelt and very sincere. I could feel that.
That came from a pure place, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel that.
To be absolutely honest, I couldn't agree with you more. To be, very sincere, very open about everything. I truly do believe that we were sent here to Earth, again, kind of dabbling into the spirituality of it. I believe we were sent here to Earth for a very specific purpose. I believe that a higher power was like, I need you to go to Earth for this reason, and I need you to make it a better place by doing this. And I feel like the way that we know that is from the tender feelings that we have, just like what you're talking about right now, or what we've talked about through this, is that we have very tender feelings in regards to music. And so I kind of feel like that's our soul calling out, saying this is why we were sent here, is because we need to do something with this.
Absolutely. We all have intuition. Yeah, we all have the ability to see beyond what is explicitly in front of us. It takes a lot of courage to go against the grain and go against what this material world is trying to blind us from. But it's there.
Thank you for that, man. Josh said it the best way. That came from a very pure place. And I could feel it. He could feel it. I'm sure everyone listening could feel it. So thank you.
Thank you for facilitating this environment for us to explore such things.
It's important to be vulnerable and to allow yourself to feel how you need to feel, man, and be around people that are accepting and understanding of that. Huge part of growth.
This has been really, really good. Moving more so into the feedback portion. So my feedback that I have for you, like, in a way, it's kind of a little bit anticlimactic from what we were just talking about, because what we were talking about was so amazing, and now we're kind of in a way taking a step back and kind of focusing on something maybe a little bit less important but still important. The more that I listen to your music, the more that I examine everything that you're doing, I think it's freaking awesome. The more I learn about you as a person, the more I can kind of see how your brand, your project, the Au5 project, is lining up with who you are, and I can kind of see how it's not lining up with who you are, and for this reason. So you are a very creative person. You are a very deep person, as we've just seen. You are a very caring person. What I think would be awesome, and Jerry DiFilippo, he was my teacher at Icon. He goes by Scarlett. He's amazing. He taught me this concept about branding and like bringing something to life. And I wanted to pose this to you and then give it to you, and then it's your decision to do what you want with it. Okay. What he said was basically he wanted to create a brand where if they don't like the music, they can come and partake of a story. And if people didn't like the music, they can still come partake of it. If people didn't want the story but just wanted the music, they could come and partake of it. But basically, people could go as deep as possible. The only other person that I've successfully seen this, and I still haven't seen it completely mastered, is Crywolf. Because Crywolf, if you've been to his live sets, they are insane, because as he plays, he has the screen behind him and he has basically images play. He makes very emotional music, as you guys know, but basically it tells a story. Like, it's like going to a play. Yeah, so not only do you get to see one of your favorite artists and jam out and have that bass in your face moment, basically, you also have this insane visual right now that's telling a story. It's like it's immersing you in a world. So what I would pose to you is, and maybe you've done this already and I just haven't seen it, but what I would pose to you is, I think this intrigues you because of the person that I know that you are, create a story, create an entire world for people to come into. Have all of your cover art tell that story. Have the lyrics, the everything, the elements in the song tell a story. You know what I mean? To me, my branding right now, I'm writing an entire, I'm literally writing, I have pages and pages and pages of a story that I've written with characters and everything, and I'm going to take that and make music out of it. Does that make sense? How does that feel right now?
Oh, dude, absolutely. I think, yeah, no, you're definitely shined a brighter light on something that I'm already set my eyes on and on the horizon. I mean, the music itself is a journey, and it's like like you don't even, like sometimes I don't even really know where I'm going until like I'm done and I take a step back and I'm like, oh, now the whole thing, there's context into the whole thing. And I feel like that's what's happening with life at every given moment. It's like there are short stories, these short chapters that are piecing together, seemingly unrelated and random. It's until I like take a step back and look at this that are like, I'm still seeing this whole thing evolve. Musically too, I've been getting into taking a lot of footage lately of like beautiful places that I've been to, and also doing animation. And I feel like I'm still in the very early stages of that, but that's been something that I've wanted to incorporate in my art and live sets as well. You solidified some pretty awesome ideas.
Awesome, dude. Because I feel like you could write a beautiful, engaging story where, you know, because up to this point, you are the face of sound design in the electronic field. You and Fractal are, you know what I mean? Without a doubt, you know, no one can touch the Au5 Fractal. You know what I mean? No one. And so as far as like on the production, the sound design thing, you guys have killed it. And now that I know you as a person and I know your creativity, I know that you could come in and destroy the story part of it too. Because right now, from what I've seen of your brand, is just like it's super intense, beautiful songs. I haven't seen a lot of basically coherency between the two, besides in like a sound design form. You know what I mean? If I listen to Snowblind and then I listen to Atlantis, it doesn't sound like Snowblind told a story, Atlantis told a story, and they're kind of bridged together. It kind of sounds like two different stories. Of course, there's, you know, in music, there's leeway for that. Going back really quick to Jerry DeFilippo to tell you what he's done, it's blown me away. So what he's done is, so he's created a brand around a story where it's like I can't remember if it was a pre-apocalyptic or a post-apocalyptic, something with the apocalypse, and basically the world's coming to an end or has already basically is in, you know, shambles. And so this person in the story develops this technology to basically become immortal and transfer his consciousness to like machines. And so as he's doing it, he created this machine called Scarlet. And so as he was transferring it over to his conscious over to it, he actually didn't there was a huge explosion or something like that, and he didn't go to the Scarlet one, he went to the demo one, which is, you know, like the prototype before it. And so now he's in this thing, and he's in this post-apocalyptic world, and he's seeing life through Scarlet eyes. And then the whole brand is about that. Every song, everything is about that concept. And to me, as a producer, as someone who loves music and stories, that's just like, shut up and take my money. Like, this is, you know,
it's the whole world right there. Yeah, like that's the entire immersive experience.
Exactly. And I feel like us as producers, us as creators, us as writers, we have to do something like that now. To be able to satisfy our creative side, we need to go deeper into something like that. Like, to me, I don't know if you guys can see, but I have cold chills right now thinking about this. Like,
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
I know that was a little drawn out, that was a little long, but it was a very intense point that I wanted to get across. With that being said, Josh, take it home, buddy.
Genuinely, it's insane what you just said, because it's exactly what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks with the whole storytelling thing. You know, I'm working with another guy in Denver actually, and there's some people over in Tokyo, and basically it's going to be, I don't want to say too much, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but essentially it's going to be like a 3-part, and they're all going to have like a visual to the audio, and then there's going to be this whole vibe between all 3 of the records, and there's, yeah, it's exactly what you just said about the whole storytelling element. And when I was on Skype to him the other day, I was getting like shivers because we were talking about it and we were bringing ideas back and forth, and I was literally in Ableton, like I had like hooks, motifs already down, I had like melodies that were suiting like the words he was saying, and it just got to this whole next level. And it's like, if I could achieve that over Skype, being able to do that actually face to face with the guy would just a whole nother level. But yeah, I mean, with Austin, with the Young Music Man, like I would be so invested in seeing what you could come up with. And obviously it sounds like you've already got plans for such things, dude. So all I can say is genuinely hope and pray you keep doing you to the best of your ability, buddy. And I'm a huge admirer of you as a person now that I get to know you a bit better. And
likewise.
Yeah, thanks you so much, man. It means the world. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to share this space with you today, and yeah, to really kind of delve into life together.
Thank you so much. This has been profoundly enlightening. And I've found that as I've tried to help both of you, I've actually found answers to myself.
That's how you know you're on the right path, because I always find the same thing. I mean, like, teaching teaches me when I teach, and have space and the receptivity to express such things, it's like I'm discovering deeper parts of myself through that process, and it's just beautiful because it's like it's win-win.
Guys, thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you so much for coming through from different sides of the world to be able to come through and do this, not only for the sake of me and Multiplier to be able to learn from this, but literally from the whole music producer community. We thank you so much for being open and being vulnerable and sharing these things. Thank you so much, guys.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, yeah, being part of this.
Hey, DAW Nation. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Behind the DAW with Au5. I really hope you were able to dig deep, find some of those things that really resonate with your soul to help you continue on your producer path. So if you are interested in the Patreon, giving suggestions for artists to come on the show, or having private music production or social media marketing lessons, click the links down in the description. I would love to set something up with you, get to know you better, and help you along your path. Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, repost, follow, whatever is appropriate on the platform that you're listening on, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, Deezer, wherever you're at. Hey, there's something that you can do on there to let us know that we are going in the right direction for you. That would be awesome. Finally, check out the next episode of Behind the DAW. The next episode right after this, it is episode 10.5. It is again with Au5. It is the In the DAW recording of him breaking down Arise. The song that's playing right now and the song that played in the intro, there is a lot of knowledge in that. The fun fact there, it is the #1 viewed In the DAW episode of all time on YouTube. All right, by far it's at least triple the views of any other video that we have. So please go check that out. And also, if you like that episode and if you like Au5, we did another episode with him. It's about 20 episodes ahead of this one, I think, if I remember that correctly. It's where we break down his song Goo Lagoon that he did for Gravitas. So if you like the next episode, make sure to go check out the other Au5 episode that we have. So thank you so much, DAW Nation. You have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode.